Good morning, everybody. This is a video I've been wanting to do for a while. I have, in the last year, become enamored with Montegrappa pens. A little more than a year, but, excuse me. Had a cold last week, not the COVID. I get a horrible cough when I have a cold, so got the froggy voice today. And so I wanted to do a comparison, and I wish I'd done this last week because one reason I wanted to do this comparison is I was looking at a couple of very limited Montegrappa pens, one that was steel nibbed and one that was gold nibbed, and I wanted to, I was trying to decide, do I save the $160 or so and go with steel nib, and back and forth and back and forth. Of course, I dilly-dallied so long that both pens are gone. But anyway, Montegrappa is a long-standing Italian brand that is, like I say, relatively newly of my interest. And it started with this Elmo fountain pen that I got from Goulet 2 or 3 years ago. It was really the first that I'd heard of Montegrappa, or the first that I paid attention. It's a steel nib pen, and I really like pens where the cap and barrel meet and there's no ridge there. Oh no, this pen's cracked. Look at that, the cap's cracked. Holy mackerel, I don't know when that happened. Wow, that makes me very sad. Oh, well, I have other pens. Okay, so I have to tell you that I get a little confused on the Montegrappa model names. Part of that is that for instance, they have a pen that's the Montegrappa, and they'll use words like extra. So some models will be extra auto, the extra auto, or the extra amagalo, or something extra, which then makes me wonder if there's a not extra one, or is the extra the model and auto's a particular iteration, or auto's the model and extra's the particular iteration, blah blah blah. There are also a couple of pens that for instance, the one I just went breaky on is the Elmo in the US, and the Elmo that I've seen in Italian shops looks a little different. So there's an Elmo 2 as well. So all that's very confusing. Mia, which is a model that I really like. There's the Mia, there's the Mia 450, and there is and Mia is sometimes spelled M-I-A, and sometimes it's spelled M-I-Y-A. And I haven't quite figured out the differences among all of those. So for instance, this is a Mia. I did have a celluloid version, but there's a story to that. I got it, it had a flex nib. I didn't like it, I sent it back. It's one of only 2 pens I've ever sent back. So I don't know if the 450 is just a particular collection of Mias that were in celluloid versus this acrylic, or if this is a Mia 450 and people just shorten it to Mia. I don't know, but anyway, that's a Mia. The pricing for Montegrappa is a little all over the place. They can go from about $200 for this Elmo all the way up to thousands. I'll show you the most expensive one I have in a second. Well, I'll show it to you right now. So I had a couple of Montegrappas, and while I was crazy for this as a steel nib pen, my first couple experiences with gold nib Montegrappas weren't so very great until I got this pen from Corsani. It's a limited edition of theirs, and it's based on, I believe it's based on the 1930, but it's a beautiful green celluloid, and the nib is just, it's a fine nib, but writes more like an extra fine. And sometimes you just find a pen that's just right for your hand, and this is it. I mean, for my handwriting. I have a lot of pens that fit my hand, but my handwriting always looks great when I write with this pen. So that was a pretty significant jump up. And then last year at the DC Pen Show, Bryant at Chatterley Pens had a number of special editions in celluloid that they call them the Legacy Extra Grandes in celluloid, special edition with Bryant, although now there's sort of versions of them I'm seeing elsewhere. So I don't know if it was one of those, who knows. But I saw these pens and they were way out of my price range. They were above the top of what I consider paying for pens, unless they're narco. And I just had to have it. I just thought it was the most beautiful pen. It is this gray. I wanted a gray pen, but I just thought this gray celluloid was out of this world with this rose gold furniture, and there's a little jewel in the center of the band. And even though, I don't like fancy too much, I think the jewel just really sets off the celluloid. And I could have had all the pens on that. The red was gorgeous. Oh my God, the turquoise was really beautiful. I think they had a couple in like the shiny circles material, and just all of them were extraordinary. But this I just thought was the classiest pen I'd ever seen. And a fabulous nib on this pen. It's an 8 size. Again, rose gold, beautiful, beautiful. But I don't like to write with it. It's just very sad. I can't let myself get rid of it because it's such a beautiful pen. It also has this unique pump filling system, I think, but it makes the pen, to my hand, very back weighty. Now I like a heavy pen, but there's more weight back here than up here, and that doesn't really work for me. And if you cap it, it's just crazy. But it's so gorgeous that I love to look at it, and I love to have it around, even though I'm not sure I'm ever going to ink it again. So then I've got a number of things in between, and really this is a place where it's been Corsani's special editions that have gotten me. So here's the deal, when you like a vendor and they do a special edition, you want the pen because it's theirs. There's a little element of that. But when it's $1,000 pen, you got to be careful about that. But I had looked at this pen from Corsani for so long, and when I finally got it, found it such an extraordinary writer, that the next one I was looking at for a long time was the Amaraglio in ebonite. Now, I'm kind of, I collected vintage pens for a long time, so ebonite was my thing for many years. I'm a little bit over ebonite now. I don't get excited by ebonite anymore. So I was like, oh, ebonite pen. But there are these beautiful little swirls right here, and I love the way they've tapered down the cap to the barrel. I'm a little worried about it because it's pretty thin right here, given that other plastic cap. Maybe I'm right to be. But I finally just couldn't resist anymore, and I got it, and oh my, I love this pen. Top 10 pens right here. It's a 6 nib, not an 8 nib, but it's so comfortable and such a nice writer. One of these pens, I should have checked this out. One of these pens has their nibs made by Staler. It might be this one. Anyway, just such a fun writer, such a lovely pen. And again, look at these really shallow cap threads. Just marvelous engineering on these things. This might, I don't know, this might be the Sailor nib. I can't remember, I'm sorry. I'll look it up and put it in the notes. Both of them are great writers anyway. So there's that. And then Montegrappa also has these wonderful, interesting resins that are kind of striated. This is my most recent Montegrappa. It's the Flaming Heart. I got it when I was in Rome. And look at those reds and oranges and yellows with some black accent. Just fabulous. It's a Mia, matches, not matches, but its sister here is this purple color, which for a while was an exclusive to Corsani, but I think that was one of those, exclusive to us for a while, and then everybody else can have it. Gorgeous blue, purple, a little bit of orange and white in there. And very shortly after Corsani got this, they got this pen, which they call the Swing. I don't know if you can see it in this image, but there are lines on the clip. Quite a different shape, I think. The band tapers down to the barrel, and it's not quite the same material as the last pen as the Mia I just showed you. This is, the blues are more purple. That makes, it's darker. It's a darker pen, so darker blue to purple as opposed to lighter blue, purple, and orange. And there's no white in this, I don't think. So it's a very dark pen. It doesn't photograph well, actually. And most recently, I also got this in Rome with this beautiful turtle celluloid. This is another Corsani exclusive, though you can find it with a sterling section elsewhere, not as an exclusive. I think Chatterley still got some. Gorgeous pen, wonderful writer. Then I most recently got this. It's the model is the Zero. It's considerably thinner than the other pens, considerably thinner than other Montegrappas, and thinner than most pens that I get, but there's an elegance to it that I like. Montegrappa has been doing this Zodiac series. They've only got a handful out. I think they have Scorpio, Sagittarius, and Capricorn. Finally, they did Pisces, the best sign. And I got this from Lucky Star Pens, and it's really a cool pen. This is a steel nib pen. I hope you can see this, the end, and how the lines of this striated material come together in a kind of starfish pattern at the end. Really, really nice. This is going to be a very long video. Maybe I'll do a part 2 where I actually write with these pens. So this is a little introduction to my Montegrappa collection. I will show the pens in close-up and do some writing samples with them in a second video, I think, rather than make this a 20-minute video. Because who can listen to me for 20 minutes? I can't listen to me for 20 minutes. Besides, I have to go see if I can find a replacement for this pen.